currently 6 o'clock in the morning. I decided to get a head start. Why not? So far, brought it in the garage. The crane's over there. Left the car in neutral. Took the e-brake off, so when I get all this crap off, it's easier for me to push and pull the car back. Lift it up, pull the engine out, set it down here, and then push the engine out. By the looks of it, it's gonna be an okay job compared to the A4. I am just gonna do time lapse of me pulling it. If you guys want a detailed video, I will drop a link on one of the guys that on YouTube that pulled the 3-liter engines out. Amazing detail. He points out to everything. I don't want to bore you guys with an hour and a half video. I'm just gonna get it done like that, as we're hoping. And I'll keep you guys on a loop on things that I encounter and things that I do. We are playing with engine and trans, so let's get it. Hey guys, I'm just gonna do a voiceover on this part of the scene because we are doing a speed through on this. So here I'm just grabbing a couple of my tools and setting it down, getting everything nice and ready. Just throwing shit everywhere at this point. I gotta clean the garage out at one point and get this all cleaned up, but right now I'm taking off the top plastic cover, I guess is what you'd call it. Remember, I always put the bolts back where they come from most of the time. Most bolts will. This part was a little achy in a sense that there are two 10 mil bolts that run on the left and right side of the bumper. I did not want to come off, and I just had to pry and pry till it came off, but we got that through. So here I'm taking off the air filter and the intake pipe for that. Removed a couple hoses, and I continue on, taking off the Torx bits right at the inner fenders there that bolt to the bumper, and we keep going. Now that tool there is a Milwaukee, it's an electric ratchet, but it's one of the ratchets with the pass-through sockets. It comes in clutch a lot. I really like it. I use it for work as well. It's very handy-dandy. It's long. It gets into places that most things can't, but it also has a pass-through socket in the sense that you don't have to put a socket on there to make the head longer. It's very nice. Taking off a couple more bolts here. And this is where I was getting stuck, and I forgot. It's been a while, but there are two 10 mil bolts that run beside the headlights. You're supposed to take those off, and I'm over here prying it like an idiot. Don't mind me, it's 6 a.m. in the morning, and I'm just already over with it. Here I finally took off the bumper, had to unplug the sensor and the fog lights. Taking those off, pull the bumper out completely. There you go. You see the crash bar, everything is there now. Essentially taking off the lower front, not skid plate, just like a plastic piece that's attached to the bumper, and then We're going here, I'm plugging some connectors, and this is the shroud for the oil cooler. Most of these plastic pieces are they are prone to breaking because the heat, they're fragile, and once they sit there for a long time, they dry out essentially. Sort of like dry rot, but you go. Couldn't find a oil bucket, so I'm over there draining with a random bucket. I started taking off the crash bar right there, or bash bar. It's only how many bolts? It's 2 bolts. Took that off, and right now I'm just going through all the connectors and taking off all the coolant hoses, tranny cooler lines, power steering lines, taking all that off the front end because I'm pulling this as a complete unit. So you see here, this is me struggling with the AC condenser. That plastic piece did not want to move at all. It just kept getting stuck and jamming, and I'm struggling over there, you can see. But once you essentially take it off, the 2 long steel pipes actually run to a soft flex sort of line, so you're able to take it off and move it completely out the way. That way it doesn't invade your space, and it's easier, so you don't have to drain the Freon or anything like that. This is me taking off 6 bolts, 3 on each side for the cross, for that whole section that bolts up right up to the frame, which is just 6 bolts, 3 on each side. Took it off. There's two brackets sort of at the bottom that act like clips. Essentially, the bottom pieces of this rack basically slides into there, and you just pull it off straight. Boom, comes right off. Yeah. No, my man, just grabbing a seat, make it easier. So here I'm just putting a couple of bolts back, and then essentially here I'm going to take off all the coolant lines and all the main structures you see in the front, keep them aside, so that way it's just easier to work on it, taking off the coolant pipes going to the supercharger, etc. Stupid design by Audi, but they essentially have 2 pulleys and 2 belts. So the first belt is a supercharger belt, and then the back belt is accessory belt, but you have to take the front, the one I'm taking off right there, you have to take that pulley off to take the belt off, which is kind of a stupid design if you ask me. And then we keep going. I'm just taking off the harnesses on the left side and then working around. Once I take both left and right harnesses off, like the plugs and connectors for the left bank and right bank, move them aside. Still more connectors behind the supercharger. Once you take those off, then you can move everything out of the way. Moving on to the power steering pump. It's 3 triple square sockets, and then I just put the bolt back, tap the pulley off. Essentially, to take that power steering pump off, first you have to take the AC condenser off, which I'm over here trying to remove the connectors. struggling with the AC compressor. The two front bolts come out fine, but there is one bolt that runs all the way to the back at the bottom. And there's only three, but it did not want to budge for the life of me, so I just kept prying and pushing and prying and pushing till it came off. And getting that little 13 mil bolt out. It's long, but it comes off. So once you have that off, you just take it off and just throw it to the side where the AC condenser is, and it's perfectly wrapped around. Once that's all off, then I work my way down to the steering pump, which is I think 4 or 5 triple square bolts, and that you just take off and toss it to the side as well. Now we're starting our journey to the supercharger. Basic mounting the supercharger is 6 13 mil bolts and 2 of these sort of plastic covers. Essentially, you got to take them off or the supercharger won't come off. And then I just lift it up a bit to break it free, and then behind there's a whole bunch of vacuum lines. Take the vacuum lines off, connectors off, and coolant hose at the back off, and you should be able to pull the supercharger right off. In this section, the whole rear section of all harnesses and coolant lines and fuel lines, I'm just pulling, just going crazy at it from all angles. It was a pain in the ass, let me tell you that. These connectors, when they get dry rotted, they do not want to come off, and it's just greasy and disgusting. So it's me working through it. This is me crawling down there to get all the connectors and harnesses unplugged down there, which was even worse. This is where I was doing all the tranny plugs and connectors. I go to the tranny and trying to pull them out. It was hectic, let me tell you. It's one round connector at the transmission. and the one right at the crank at the bottom, the flywheel, sorry, they got a sensor there, but just routing it back up, and the power steering connector too, which was also a no-go. But they all run down through the back behind the heat shield and then down there. Just crazy work. This was me just rolling down there. I was trying to get the exhaust bolts, and for the life of me, I could not get them out, and they just kept stripping. So what I ended up doing, just taking the Milwaukee cutoff wheel, chopping both exhausts right off, just right after the cap. Don't worry about it. We are replacing it. We're going full bolt on, so I don't think a dingy old, exhaust is going to matter anyway. So we're taking it apart, so I just cut right through it. And it's just me trying to cut at an angle, trying to get it through because I didn't have my Sawzall. So I was just working with a 5-inch.
Bailamos unidos, corazón. Esta rumba es nuestra canción. Mueve el cuerpo con pasión en esta gran celebración. Las paredes.
I think the last thing I was doing under here was just loosening up the subframe bolts and that X brace, taking that off and loosening it all up.
Se entrelazan, sus miradas van a hablar. El amor lo siente el alma en esta fiesta sin final. Los tambores ya resuenan, la guitarra va a gritar. Los sentidos se despiertan, vamos todos a bailar. Bailamos unidos, corazón. Esta rumba es nuestra canción. Mueve el cuerpo con pasión en esta gran celebración.
Once somewhat of the car was ready to go, I lowered it back down because we are pushing it out because my crane doesn't go inside of the garage, so we have to push it outside and use the crane outside. Pushed it out enough, and then I went and grabbed the crane.
Bailamos unidos, corazón. Esta rumba es nuestra canción. Mueve el cuerpo con pasión en esta gran celebración. Bailamos unidos, corazón. Esta rumba es nuestra canción. Mueve el cuerpo con pasión en esta gran celebración. Bailamos unidos, corazón. Esta rumba es nuestra canción. Mueve el cuerpo con pasión en esta gran celebración.
This is the crane setup. This is an old Princess Auto crane that we got a few years back. I just hooked up a pullover chain link and then bolted up a chain to it. And I just kept some tension on the engine, lifted it up, and removed the drive shaft at the back and the axle shafts. Also, I did remove in this portion of it and took those off. The only reason I couldn't take the wheel off is because when I bought the car, the person didn't give me the wheel lock. So they are just custom studs on there, but there's no wheel lock, so I will have to get some extractor sets and try to rip them out. But I spent a good amount of time using a ratchet and trying to bust those axle shafts, triple torques back out. Took that out. Drive shaft was out at this point. Transmission mount was loose, keeping some tension on the engine. And yeah.
Bailamos unidos corazón. Esta rumba es nuestra canción.
At this part, I didn't want to remove the starter separately with the alternator, so what I ended up doing was removing the alternator, unbolting that, keeping it to the side, and I went up at the top there where the power junction box is and removed the 3 connectors that go there, which is a 13 mil and 2 10 mils, and took them out, and the wire just runs through the top and all the way right there down that plastic cover to the starter. So what I ended up doing is just unbolting it, taking that entire wire out with the engine. It just makes it easier than pulling the starter out through there, because it is a heck of a time because the engine mount's right in front of it.
To let the truth out in the open. I know exactly what to do. We need to find something somewhere new. Let's bring this up, oh yeah.
Once everything was done, the only thing I had left, which was the shifter linkage, which did not want to come out for the life of me, but I managed to get it out with a couple broken knuckles. And there you see me lifting the engine. A reminder that you do have to pull the engine mounts out. So I did take off both engine mount bolts on the side of the engine and the inside one as well. They did not want to move, but I got them out. The two would go right between the cross member section. It's just two long 17 mil bolts. You just take them out. And then the inside one is an M14 triple square. At this point, when I had the engine fully out almost, I just ended up lowering the car and pushing the car all the way back out, so it just freestands the engine. And she's out. It was a bit of a pain. Not in a pain that it was hard. It's a 2010 car. The motor mounts did not want to move. The shifter cable for the top mount did not want to pop off. And all in all, it was just greasy and oily, made things even more worse trying to get bolts out because it would just keep slipping. Other than that, the infamous 3 liter is out. Don't worry, we'll do an overlay of the video that I was recording. Tell you what I did, what I took off, indicate some key points on things you should do. Other than that, what I'm gonna do, we're gonna roll the car all the way back a little bit, quite a bit. We are going to find a place to set the engine. I'm debating if I should, yeah, I'll probably get the cart, set it on the cart, and then after that, we will put all the bolts in the according spots. I do have the supercharger just sitting over there, and then yeah, and then we'll go into details of the more things that it needs. First, let's do a cleanup real quick. Just pick up tools and whatnot, set the engine down, make the place look clean, and by the time I come back by snapping my finger, everything should be done. What kind of fucking snap was that? Jesus. That will be the end of this YouTube video. We will update when we get the stand and a couple more sections, and then we'll put this on the stand. And comment down below if you think we should start tearing this down first, or if we should start tearing the DSG down. But more likely everything's gonna get teared down, cleaned, gaskets replaced. Affordability wise, we'll see if we can afford the mods as of right now, and then that way we can install the pulley and things like that while we're in it. But more likely this is gonna get rebuilt and sit just clean and waiting until the whole body's finished. So until then, catch you guys later. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button if you guys want updates on this build. It's gonna get crazy.